right, let's just jump into it.
Live from downtown San Francisco, it is.
Fantastic.
That is it. Here it comes. All right, Paul. Oh, yeah, let me set this up. Oh, we don't want that. And there we go. And it is yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's the Tuesday night marathon, Nick. Round 8.
7.
Round 7. Oh my gosh. That's
Live from New York.
Live from New York. Live from San Francisco. It's the last round. And how you doing, Nick?
Good. I'm looking forward to the excitement. The last round from New York, San Francisco, wherever we are.
Bermuda. Yeah. Knowing you, Nick, we're in Bermuda. And thanks to anybody who's watching for joining us. We hope to be joined by the usual crowd of suspects like Mike Walder and Alexei Rudolph, Alexei Root. Sorry. And anybody else who might be interested on a Tuesday night. So I'm not sure the standings, Nick. I have to ask Judah when she comes in, but Elliot's on first board. So Elliot Winslow.
Who's on first?
He's on first. Yeah.
What's on second?
And on second board, well, here's the we got Nicholas Wang, expert Nicholas Wang playing expert Christoph Bamboo, and Chelsea Zhao versus Christian Clements, and Acosta versus Eiko Hadari. We have the usual suspects here. And I'm going to try to get, just hold on a second, and Nick, and you comment maybe on this top board while I go and find the standings, okay?
Okay. It's the Tuesday night marathon, the big event, which very serious games, and it's not just the make a few moves, a blunder or something, which the rapid chess, you can see the game shift much more quickly. So Tuesday nights are traditional marathon, and every game has such gravitas. It's for 49 years that the event has been going on. So okay, it's a little different from Thursday night, which is a lot of action, but somebody may blunder quickly. And so I believe Elliot Winslow is in first, but yes, now who's his opponent? It's Grice. It's
so
which
anyway,
is a night of
Siddharth Arun has got 4.5 out of 6, and I guess is in clear first, and playing and took a bye in the last round. So
who does Winslow have black against in this round? It's
Caven Reese.
Oh yes, Caven Reese.
All right, so let's go. Let's talk some chess here, and we'll go take a look at how this game went. The old Sicilian defense and the old Nador variation. Bishop g5.
With these classical time controls, 2 hours each, it's almost a rarity in online show. but we're not online chess. We're real chess.
So what's the theory here? This is still
Yeah, this is still classical theory. Pawn to h6 is the idea, and you hit g5, so you get the e5 square. And this is what Bobby Fischer probably should have played against Boris Spassky 49 years ago. But still, a bit complicated. Black pins the pawn on g5 and is probably going to win it back. But White's ahead in development, and this line is as old as the hills, 48 years old.
the players are probably still in theory here, right?
Are we back? I think I lost connection for a moment.
All these moves look logical.
Yes, so still classical theory, and basically about even, although White has a little bit of a pull, this.
And Michael, hi, Michael Walder has joined us and says, "This Elliot knows his position. It's all book."
Indeed, and Elliot and Michael would have known it for years and years and years. And Kevin Reese is who have looked it up and apparently knows all this theory. They're both playing very quickly, but okay, you still know the theory, but you need to be familiar with the theory. And Kevin has played the moves very quickly, ahead on time by 10 minutes, but still, I don't know. I think Winslow's probably very grounded in the black side of this.
And White's threatening knight e5 and rook f7, which doesn't look like it's that difficult for black to deal with.
Yeah, he has to do something. Maybe even pawn to f6, I'm not sure. Rook h7. And he's thinking, but there's a few good options.
He's thinking, so that's the dangerous part for him.
Indeed. Thinking is just not a good idea sometimes.
All right, let's go to board 2. Maybe they're not thinking on that board. This is Nicholas Wang versus Christoph Bamboo. And let's see here.
Yeah, let's go through this opening. Check how it arose. Oh, well,
Bishop d2 is pretty modest here. Am I not mistaken?
yeah, but you want to do it sometime or the other, so it's just a little early, but not bad.
When black jumps out.
Ooh, okay, now just...
Something is a little bit unusual here, I'm sure.
Are the
players improvising here?
Wow, it's weird. Like after Bishop G4, there were moves to play. You could have done knight E4.
Wow, leaving your queen
hanging. Yeah, your queen's hanging, their queen's hanging. You want to check. Actually, doesn't. Maybe that doesn't get an advantage, but black's sort of playing with fire. Your opponent creates a potential threat. You ignore it to make your threat. But
and what is the threat after bishop to d2 exactly?
Oh, you will have it discovered on the queen.
Right.
Which that's 94 right now.
Then bishop d1, knight f6, takes back.
F5.
Bishop a5, bishop takes c2.
Bishop takes c7, and maybe it's nothing for white. Yeah, it's okay, but doesn't get an advantage quite yet, but it's a worry.
All right, so white plays f3, and the bishop goes back to d7, so knight e4 is still possible here.
Yes, which again might be some advantage to white already.
But bishop c4 is played, and the queen gets out of danger here. And Michael Walter's saying f3 has scored the best, but it's the second most popular move.
Michael is really great with his databases. He's spent so much time on the openings. He's the best second any grandmaster could have.
So white decides that he doesn't want to castle and leave the b pawn hanging anymore, even though that doesn't look like a threat, and he withdraws the bishop. Black develops. This kind of makes sense to me in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of logical for both sides. So
and black is saying, I want to free my
Ooh.
game.
Wow! Immediately. Okay, and d5 is also very logical.
Black takes, and bishop takes d5.
Ooh, that I find. Why not just knight takes? Knight takes, bishop takes. Maybe.
I think white has not quite gotten really that much out of this opening. Hi, Alexei. Welcome to the Tuesday night marathon, round 7 and final round.
So, Paul, how often has a Tuesday night marathon ended on round 7? Lucky number 7.
I think Abel introduced the 7-round Tuesday night marathon. Back in the old days, it was 12 rounds, and then I think there were probably some 10-rounders or whatever, and then John got it down to 8 and 9 rounds.
Way back in the old days, in the 70s, when you first started, was it like Tuesday night forever? Or?
Yeah, it was always a Tuesday night marathon. 12 rounds. That's a lot of rounds of chess. You're going to play everybody in the tournament. Not quite, but it's always had a substantial turnout, at least 40 players, 50. And then it started to get up towards 100 and surpassed 100 before the pandemic. I played in one in 1972.
Is that the last Tuesday night marathon you played in?
No, I think I played in a couple after I got back to San Francisco in the 2000s or something. So, 2010s.
But okay, 1972, you played in a Tuesday night marathon 49 years ago.
Yep. Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty good. And not too many other players who were from there. Joe Tracy and
Tony Lama, maybe. Joe was certainly here when I joined the club. I'm not sure about Tony.
Tony now, on Monday, he showed me some other great checkmates in 2 and checkmates in 3, which I have to send in now.
I'm glad you've taken on that great responsibility.
Well, Tony now looks at the art of the chess world.
Yeah.
29 years ago, he might have played that Tuesday night marathon with you, but
he's actually played it. He used to be a house player for us I remember for John for a while. I've seen him play a game here or there. Um,
But yeah, no, he's so anyway, he's got these, and we have to. He's the artist of it because there are a lot of problems, just problems. But which ones are actually worthwhile? They, take the human psyche uh, on a nice journey into the solution. And so Tony, he sits there and considers, which one should we have for the weekly newsletter.
yeah, I mean those have been some incredible chess problems. I mean, beautiful, beautiful mates. And when it gets to mate in four, I start to give up. The mates in three and the mates in mates in two, I'm willing to tackle those. But those those mates in four are just, you know,
Yes, those are they become too much. The problemist enjoys himself rather than the person solution
right.
who's soluting it.
I wonder when
And
he's going to start showing helpmates and stuff like that, and sort of.
yeah, there's he's thinking of some retrograde problems, but it's again, it has to be a very enjoyable journey for who is trying to solve it.
Yeah, I mean, the philosophers have always been around the chess club, and Tony is in a long line of philosophical. Oh, this is Kasparov calling here. Hold on.
All right, see if he has anything good to say.
Uh,
We'll continue with the games while you're.
chess room, can I help you? Hello?
Hey, Gary, in Azerbaijan, it's now about 4:30 in the morning. Hope you're
You're
having
gonna
a
have
good
to
time
call
there.
back and leave a message because right now the organizers are busy. I'm sorry. Can you do that? They'll call you back. Or can you email us? Okay, thank you. Bye.
Well, it's nice Kasparov's going to call back. Gadir Gusenov is there in Baku, where Gary is from, and so he's always there on a Thursday night marathon. Tuesday night, we only get a call from Gary.
Yeah, Gary calls every Tuesday night trying to get a seat, but we're always a little too busy, and we can't seem to find him a table.
Yeah, so is there about, what's about now, 50 or 70 players? It's still rather packed.
I'm not sure how many people are playing tonight, but the room is full. I think there's, we're not at capacity. It's still the pandemic and people are being cautious. I'm not sure how many people are playing tonight in the TNM. I guess I should have let me take a quick look here. I can find that. And so so this looks like there's 60 or more players playing tonight.
Okay, it's
Yeah, maybe
quite
70.
a full house by pandemic standards.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the chess room is the players are separated by some of the boards are separated by an extra table, and we're not using the extra room that we would normally use, so it's a little bit below capacity, but there's still a lot of players in there, all masked up, of course, like I am right now, if I need to be. Yeah,
But that's, you know, pretty good. You've the club is not quite back to normal times. Of course, we've still got something of the pandemic to worry about, but still, it's
San
it's more people than it was in than 8 or 9 years ago.
That's true. It's extraordinary. I think that fact, actually, that's an interesting fact. Interesting. Chess has caught on. People really want to play chess. People want to play chess, not just online but in person. I think that that will. The world has changed, but people still want to be in close contact, battling with each other. Yeah. Throwing stares at each other and trying to intimidate each other in person. That never grows old.
Well, it's such a tradition and such a reason for people just to show up. They travel from everywhere, for an hour to come on the commute,
Yeah,
from the
that's true too.
East Bay or South Bay or North.
Yeah.
Um, it, Leon Quinn doesn't happen to be there tonight, does he?
No. In fact, I've heard that some of the players, some of the young players, are not always able to come back during the school year.
Yes, they're taking their school seriously, and
Yeah.
That's very good. But
Yeah. Let's move on to board 3, where Chelsea Zhao is playing Christian Clements. Might as well go from the beginning here. We get a Queen's Gambit and a modest variation for white, right? With this E3 and Bishop E2.
Very classic Queen's Gambit decline, but
Right.
be worse with the white side. But Christian just develops very logically,
Right.
hits at the center, and must have an equal position.
Yeah.
So
we'll
at
move
least
on.
both sides have their pieces out. It's
And this is
but
Anthony Acosta versus, whoops, sorry, I went the wrong way, versus Aiko Hadari. And let's go, it's a French defense, a win hour with isn't Bishop D3 out one of Alekine's moves? I think it's probably much older than that. Very simple move, Bishop D3. It's the kind of move Morphy might have played in this position.
Yes, but you're getting something out. You're not worse.
And that's an odd one, though. Bishop to B5 check.
To move it twice and then check, but okay.
All right. So white's not getting much out of this opening at all.
Shouldn't get much out after moving the bishop twice. But white's not worse.
And now has actually gained, well, just temporarily. All right, I guess that might be a good idea. White's a little bit worried about black moving the knight and then trying to trap the bishop. Must be,
the
must be equal, huh?
Okay, that's a little strange. Okay. I thought the bishop went to D2, but yeah, it looks like just a little better for white here. That pin, and okay, pawn to G5 is okay, but it loosens your king side. So, white's not has anything great, but black has a few weaknesses on the king side.
All right, let's stay tuned for this. And Guy Argo versus Andrew Guo. Wow. Again, let's go back up. I like looking at these games from the beginning, at least initially. It helps me to orient myself.
Uh,
Um,
we're
otherwise,
on planet Earth.
yeah, I'm on planet Earth. It's a all right. So this is the Grand Prix attack, right?
Yeah.
Black has to be careful with these structures. They can sometimes go bad.
Yeah, it's like an Nimzo Indian on steroids for white, and
Right, right.
you've got a tempo because you're white,
Usually
and
it's the move c4 for black that seems to solve the problems. But if black lets the pawn structure get fixed, he can get into trouble.
yes, yes, if that pawn on c5 just becomes blockaded in a target, then white has a nice strategic advantage. Oh, did he go pawn to b3?
Yeah.
Did he actually do that? No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, b3 did happen.
And he could not. Okay, bishop takes, knight, queen takes. All right.
Yeah. And now white plays e5. That looks maybe a little premature, but maybe it's good.
Yes, yes. No need to rush that move.
Yeah, I don't see the reason to rush it either. Yeah, and these are very delicate situations here. I don't know what black should do. Maybe go c4 here.
Still, white is better because you blockade the queen side. Something like knight a4, pawn to c4.
So would you say that this move d5 is maybe a little bit suspect in these positions?
Yes, this first pawn to a6, pawn to d5, queen to c7. Black is not aware of the strategic danger that the queen side can get blockaded.
Right. Okay. What's a better way for black to handle this position? d6?
Oh, well, you could have gone pawn to a5 and yeah, maybe pawn to d6.
Yeah.
It's just not allow the blockade, which if white is going to do that well with some knight a4, pawn to c4, white will have a very clear advantage.
All right, so black gets the c4 move in. He realizes this is better than getting strangled to death.
And that is a good move. Black kind of screwed it up, allowing this. And black better do something good on the queen side.
Because he could get mated. And what does rook d2 do exactly?
Well, it gets out of the way of the bishop on a6.
And then the queen can come in. I see.
Yeah.
And here comes white on the king. I mean, white certainly seems to be much better here.
Yes, it should be nice strategic play by white who understands this opening much better than his opponent. But
and now
okay,
this is a nice maneuver here. Actually, this knight d1 e3. I like it. I really like it.
Well, knight position and white's just trying to get through. Check on h7 or something.
Is c3?
Is there a way?
c3 the right move? White seemed to waste a move there with c3 for some reason. And now we're here, Nick. White's all ready for pawn to f5. Black seems to be in trouble.
Well, it's true. There's nothing too active for white. That'll be interesting in this game.
It looks to me like white's close to winning this strategically.
You want to make a bet on this game, a cup of coffee. You know, it's I'll take that black survives. And,
okay, it's a deal. I like white. I'll choose white. I'll say though that white's been an erratic performer in these Tuesday night marathons. Um, he's a good player, but and gets great positions. But then there's been some strange moves sometimes. We're betting coffee on games. Yeah, this is big time.
Yeah, well, we hope the government and the institution allow us to bet a cup of coffee.
I don't know. We're playing with fire. All right, let's see what else is going on here. Kevin's son, top board. He's leading the under 1800 section. So that I do know. And playing like a young genius now. All right, let's go back all the way back to the beginning, right? Boom, boom, boom. These are two good players. All right, we have some kind of English opening here, right? Wouldn't you say, Nick?
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah, that's
I'm just checking that you're awake, Nick.
okay. Yeah, sorry. Had some of those troubles lately.
That's
but,
all right. That's all right. We one of the that's why we bet coffee on games now, Nick.
yeah, it's true. Very necessary stuff. But okay, here is an English opening. Blacks move a lot of pieces around.
Yeah, the night. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and you go pawn to b3, which you can get away with. You're not going to lose on the long diagonal. So white's just gained a lot of time. You know, you're going to end up with a nicer white center with the rooks on d1, c1. Well, they kick that knight on. Do you want to kick that knight right away and then knight to d5? Oh, it's a tough situation for the black pieces.
Yeah.
What happens on just pawn f4, knight c6, knight d5?
Well, black can actually play knight takes d5 there because he'll reply knight d4, right? Attacking the queen.
Yeah, it's sort of
It's kind of
hanging on for black. It's got to be some trouble.
You know, I used to be really attracted to these kind of fianchetto Sicilian-y positions. And then I got really bored with them, you know, these Maroczy binds and these sort of English systems where there's I don't know, I got really bored with these black positions and I started liking positions with the pawn on e6 instead of the fianchetto. I just found them to be more interesting
Yes.
for some reason, and the fianchetto positions didn't. I still like the fianchetto against queen pawn stuff, but not so much against the e pawn. Even though this reminds me of an e pawn opening for some reason. Anyway,
I'm wondering, Blake must have the advantage, something like jump a knight into d5, knight takes, pawn takes, and when the queen runs away, pawn to f4, trapping the knight.
Yeah. Oh boy, that looks good. Yeah.
It's got to be good for white here.
Yeah, that looks like it might be winning almost. Yeah, a lot of kind of indifferent moves by black. Okay, so let's see. This is Perlov versus Stafford, and this is the second board, I think, in the under 1800 section. I can check that actually here, which I will do.
Oh, where was this played? It wouldn't have been played in Nebraska, would it?
What?
This particular game. I know it's an online game, but
Which game?
Perlaw versus Stafford.
This is the Tuesday night marathon going on right now.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, I'm getting so used to the our online games, which happen all over the world, and now we're transitioning back to live from downtown San Francisco.
That's right, Nick. Uh, um, your commentators this evening are also far flung. I'm here in downtown San Francisco at the club, and Nick is in Berkeley, and then there's the other tournaments that are happening day and night. It seems like the Singfeld Cup and the Tuesday night marathon, and it's just some are in person, some are online, and some seem like they're in two places at once. It's
And we have Alexi Root from Texas, who is, so welcomely joining us.
This is actually the under 2000 section, and this is board 2 in the under 2000 section. And I'm going to definitely do more about trying to keep this straight. So what opening do we have here, folks? The Budapest counter
Albin
gambit.
counter gambit.
Oh, sorry, the Albin counter gambit, right?
Yeah, which is great. You give up a pawn
and you try to attack.
That's the good thing, just so it's one little pawn, it's.
I like Black's central strategy here. And look, he's not afraid to exchange queens either the whole time. It's just
that is a little strange. If I'm going to sacrifice a pawn, I just want to checkmate my opponent. So trading queens.
So here we are. If rook e2, then what? Rook e2, rook e2. And
bishop takes d4.
Yeah, is white losing the pawn on a2 though?
Yeah, I think rook e2, rook e2, rook e2. Bishop takes d4, knight takes d4.
Or rook takes c2, bishop c5, rook a2.
Yes, that's
maybe not as good.
Even.
Maybe not as good. But it looks
Black's not worse.
Yeah, it looks like white just kind of is content to just give the pawn back here. It's been a despite the violent opening, it's been a kind of a peaceful game, in a way.
Well, say you're greedy and you just hold on to your pawn, king to f1. Maybe Black has things like knight to b4.
Okay, so what's the well? It's Black's move here after knight c2.
Okay.
So I'm looking at rook e2.
Yeah, if you guard the pawn, actually it's hard to guard the pawn on e4 anyway. So time to cash in and crash through.
All right, let's move on. He played rook e2, but we'll come back to that. This is the third board on in the under 2000 section. Brownlow versus Porlaris. And Kevin's son, by the way, is a full half point ahead of anybody else in the tournament.
Okay.
So
great to see Kevin playing. He's future mechanics chess.
This looks to me like Black has lost a pawn here. So let's see how that happened. Boom, boom. Caro-Kann with d3. And this is This is that Morphe Duke of Brunswick idea. White seems to have gotten away with something here. And
Yeah,
black,
bishop e7 was a little
Yeah.
slow then.
well, white's definitely in the driver's seat here with being a pawn up. And black is wasting more time. Okay.
You know, but still, there's a big development advantage for white. I think
For
you
black,
shouldn't
you
have,
mean?
sorry, for black, you shouldn't have thrown the queen up to
Yeah.
d4 and
He's
retreated.
managed to lose some time.
But still, all the black pieces are developed, so you may find some tactics for black in the near future.
And this game on board 9, which is the fourth board under in the under 2000 section, is unfortunately I have no idea what's going on in this game. I think it wasn't played. So now we have the top board in the under 1800 section, where Isaac Sterling, who is a perfect 6-0, is playing Dominic Zerbel, 2 points behind him in the last round. This Isaac Sterling already has assured himself of clear first with a round to go. And let's see how this game has progressed. This is in the under 1600, and Isaac's rating is 1236. So he's dominating his section, C and under.
1236, pretty round number.
1, 2, 3, 6. This kind of makes it, it's all kind of logical looking here. Oh, black threatens
Yeah,
knight
both
takes
sides
d4.
have played logical moves, probably about even.
Black's going on a little bear hunt here with knight b4. I think if I was white, I would have played knight c3 there, but whatever.
Yeah, keep the king more involved, but maybe he feels like the war's going to be a while for a lot of referendums about religious states.
Okay, here we go. All right, well, this is still taking shape here.
Any update on Alexi Root's game? I mean, not her game, but her husband's game.
Where? Here in the Tuesday night marathon?
Yes, the one we looked at about half an hour ago.
Alexi's husband is playing in the tournament?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay. I had that file, but is Alexi back?
Doug, she says Doug is not playing in the TNM.
Yes, no. My apologies. My apologies. He's not playing in the TNM.
No, he's not, Nick.
It's his game I was thinking of.
Right, his game with Elliott that was played a couple of weeks back in the U.S. Senior.
Yes. Apologies.
In the Chess Cafe.
Yes, because Elliott's here. It's
So, Nick, what do you think about this position now?
Those knights are jumping in.
And where are you, Nick? I can't. We can't see you, Nick. Are you hiding off camera?
Sorry. Is this better now? I need to turn my light up from.
Well, we were looking out your back, the window. I think one of your windows or something like that. And you're a disembodied voice.
Okay. Light. Be light.
It's not light. We couldn't actually see you, Nick, at all. You were,
Just as well.
you were, as I was saying, you were a disembodied voice from somewhere in the house.
Somewhere in the
In the ether.
netherworld of the East Bay.
Yeah, but now we can see you. So Elliot sacrificed a pawn here.
Yes, it's interesting strategically. It's black has a lot of squares there in the middle, and clear, nice control of the dark squares. White has those pawns on the H and G file, but they don't do much. So white has a slight material advantage, but nice dark squares for the black side.
All right, we'll come back to this. And we'll jump to Nicholas Wang versus Bamboo again. And this game proceed after bishop d5. We looked at this. Black played, after long thought, played rook d8. And white withdrew the queen back to c1 to try to get out of the dangerous looking pin there. And black develops, and I think black has done quite well for himself in this opening. I mean, just white finally castles. Black's ahead in development, maybe 2 moves ahead in development. Knight d4. Knight f4. It looks to me like white's pieces are just kind of, I mean, black may not have a decisive advantage, but white's kind of just jumping around here without much thought, I think.
Yeah, you're looking for some big shot from the black side.
Yeah, white's moves don't cohese together here. He's reacting to black rather than playing his own game.
Yet we don't really see anything wrong with the black side, as ugly as it may look.
You mean the white side?
Yeah, white's got the pieces all around, and they look a bit ugly, nice for black, but we don't see a shot for the black side.
Right. So let's move on then, and back to Chelsea Zhao versus Christian Clements. And this is just kind of proceeding in a black. Is black blowing a pawn here with knight e4 and bishop takes a6?
Simple greed. Why not?
I'm all about the greed, Nick. You know, in case you didn't know that about me. I guess
you could admire that.
I guess bishop f3 takes on gf3 and then bishop d6 or something. What's black going to do?
Yeah, but a pawn is a pawn, as my grandmother always said, and they don't see the compensation there for the white side.
Your grandmother was a wise woman. A pawn is a pawn, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it's good to just grab a pawn. And I think this is one of the cases.
Listen to grandma. That says, listen to your grandma when she talks to you about chess. This is why Nick is a grandmaster, because his grandma was such a strong chess player.
Well, she listened to reason at least.
You know, words of wisdom, like, you know, old ancient wisdom, like a pawn is a pawn, and you know.
Which, yes, you know, so many people, they give up their pawns, 1 or 2, and they regret it about 10 moves later.
Right. Okay, so we're looking at knight e4, bishop a6. I would guess black would play bishop f3 and then bishop d6 or something, but a pawn is a pawn.
Yeah, that at least complicates it because you can just grab an extra pawn if not.
All right, I'm going to move on here, and we're going to come back to this and see what happens. This was interesting. Black played that G5 move, and we got this chasing the queen around and bishops of sort of an interesting bishops of opposite color thing. No, maybe white should have left the bishop on G3. I don't know.
Well,
this looks reasonable for white. Still looks a little better for white, don't you think? Maybe.
And the time control, well, lots of time for both players.
Yeah, we're still in the early stages here of yeah, Michael, thanks for your agreeing with us. Okay, so here's the oh, this game took a lot of what happened here after 93. Okay, we saw this. This is the one you and I had the bet on, the coffee bet. Why doesn't white play queen G3 here, followed by F5? This seems to be a mistake, queen D8. Why, with all this pressure on the king side? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, looks like an aggressive position for white there.
I think we need to get Nick some coffee.
Yeah, that's true too. That's sorry, it's a little slow night over here.
I wouldn't trade queens. I would play queen G3 here. I would get I seriously would get the coffee if I knew where to get it here. I'm downtown San Francisco, and there's no place open around here, and and I didn't bring a thermos with me, which I probably should have done. So
what's it like 8 o'clock at night downtown San Francisco on a Tuesday night?
Kind of boring, except for the chess club, which is open, but there's not much open down here, I would guess, right now. So white trades queens, and then and then takes this. I think he's tempted by this ruining these pawns over here. But what's white? Okay, and switches over to this. Maybe knight G5 and knight E4. I wouldn't have gone into this endgame. I would have. Back here, Nick, I would have taken my chances with the kingside attack and played queen G3 and F5.
Oh, that looks really dangerous. You know, that's
Yeah, I wouldn't have traded queens.
Yeah, very
look at
strange.
this. Black finds knight takes D4. Nice move.
Just a really annoying move. Yes.
Nice move. Catching, and you were right, Nick. Black has completely caught white here, although the game is still okay. So why not rook B2? I guess rook D1. Okay.
So yeah, I had to get rid of the bishop, and so it's just a pawn ahead for white, but okay,
for
maybe
black. Yeah.
Oh, that rook D8 is kind of nice. It's just if white could get one more tempo, get the king to D4 or something, but
now king D4, rook D3 ties white up completely.
Yeah, at this point it's you can't play normal for the white side. You needed to go back, and at this point you need to do something really active with the black pieces. I don't quite know what. Well, white can move.
King e4, rook d3, f5 or something.
Yeah, just good for the black side, and no real way out. Rook to b2 is a kind of slow move for white.
Abel has not been kidnapped. Abel is playing a chess game in the other room. So that Mr. IMF pawn, how did you do in the tournament over the weekend? I left before the last round was over. And F pawn was playing, and
over the weekend.
yeah.
And actually, yes, there was about 50 players this weekend.
47 players played. Yeah, it was a successful event. I mean, this is better than pre-pandemic turnout for a weekend tournament.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is amazing.
As I recall, it was still pretty good pre-pandemic, but
well, sometimes there would be these, you know, it was common to have about 30 players showing up for a weekend tournament, pretty much. You know, it would vary, but getting 47 players was not the norm for a weekend tournament. Although we were getting some very good numbers, all have been for quite a while. There's been an uptick in turnout for chess tournaments in general here in San Francisco at the Mechanics.
Well, people want to go live, and you know, it's in the Mechanics. It's safe. You do have to wear a mask. That's you know, a little annoyance, but you have your live chess game just is back for the last 49 years.
All right, I'm going to go roll up here to, oh, here's the Kevin Sun game we were following. We were back here, Nick, if you don't remember, and White did not play knight d5, but played f4 and g4. And Black took. So if White plays knight d5 here, trying to win the e7 pawn, what can Black do?
Then you go knight d5, pawn takes d5, knight takes d4.
I guess so. And if bishop d4, queen takes c1, right?
Yeah.
And if e takes d4, then, well, White's pawns are so messed up. Maybe Black can play queen a5 or queen b6 or something and lose the e7 pawn and still have a decent game.
Yeah, it looks like it would have been okay for Black. So
okay.
So he chooses to go more slowly with the
G4 and Black trades. Looking nice for White. There's no doubt about it.
Well, definitely a space advantage, but you never underestimate Black and a hedgehog. They just sit back and wait, and then suddenly at one moment they make a break.
Look at that. Black is not going to take this standing still. E5. That looks Kevin is the leader of the tournament, and he's not playing conservatively here. E5.
Now,
White's thinking. That looks like it's either a great move or a complete disaster.
Yeah, it's probably okay because White's exposed the king so much, so it'll be checks.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So anyway, we'll come back to this. That's the top board for the under 2000 section. And we have this game, which was the Alban counter gambit that was being sort of peacefully conducted by the players. And we are getting this line where black has regained the pawn and white's going into some kind of defensive mode here. And this is definitely seems to be turning out for black. Okay, so rook f2 check, king g1. Black misses the win of a piece here. Am I wrong?
Rook check, king to g1. The bishop is
attacked. You can go rook f3 check. Knight
f3
c5,
check,
rook
knight
d3.
takes c5, knight rook takes d3, knight takes d3. Could have been a pawn ahead for the black side with rook takes f2 check.
Well, actually, you'd be a piece ahead in that final position.
Okay, rook f2, king g1, rook f3, knight c5, rook d3, knight takes d3. Each side has a knight.
That's right. You're right, Nick. Black is one. But what about rook f2 check, king h1?
King h1. Interesting. Threatening knight takes c5 and rook d8 mate. And so you would have to go bishop to e7
or d6.
On ahead.
Oh yeah, e7. Huh.
You're on ahead for the black side. Maybe you could have done it.
Black played the bishop e7 right away.
Oh, wow. May as well have gone rook f2 check. That's
yeah, because now white can play rook d2, right?
Okay, Mike Wilder is saying rook f2 check, king h3, threatening rook d8.
Oh
checkmate.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Geniuses we are, Nick.
Yeah.
So
and no way really out of that.
Rook f2 check,
h3. h3.
Yeah. Threatening rook d8 mate and the knight.
Yeah, you can go rook h2 check, so that if knight takes h2, knight f2 check.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't take your rook. He just goes king takes g4.
Oh, that's a nice variation, though.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So brave white king would have won the game, and better to be circumspect and just retreat the bishop.
Michael, I'll take any cup of coffee I can get at this point. I think Nick,
yes, I definitely need one. Paul might like one too.
And the crazy thing is, I'm going to take a break at 8 in a little bit, and I still won't be able to get a cup of coffee. I'm just going to have water or something horrible like water, you know.
You're right there downtown in the club. Are you, Paul?
Yeah. It's okay. I will survive. All right, let's move on here. This is an interesting game. And this is Brownlow versus Polaris. And I've got to hand it to Polaris. I worked here at the club actually over the weekend, and Polaris was playing. He won his section, Nick. Teodoro won his section and played some fantastic chess. I scored 4.5 out of 5. So,
and he had last Tuesday this fantastic game with David Racknitz.
Yeah. So I've been praising his warrior spirit, and he exemplifies the best of the chess players here at the club with the fact that he just turns out for everything and plays and you know, just he's like Winslow, you know, just battling it out week after week, you know.
Well, yes, you know, it's great following some of our true combative chess club players throughout the years, and Teodoro is one of them. that he's got this fighting spirit, and so you get to see his games, and once in a while you get this super exciting game like he did against Rakonitz, but tonight may be another one of them.
And one thing is, the Filipino players, and there's a lot of them here at the club. They all have something in common, as well as just they're fine chess players and so on and so forth. And that's they just love Wesley So. This guy, and the other thing is I told Theodora this evening because we were watching Wesley So play his the finish of his draw with Shanklin today. We were watching that on the broadcast, and it's funny. So Theodore, we were talking about Wesley So, and then Judith comes in, and who does she ask about in the Singfield Cup? Who do you think, Nick? Richard
Wesley So.
Rapport.
Well, because he's Hungarian.
Because he's Hungarian, yeah. This is the wonderful thing about chess is it's this cosmopolitan, crossing the international barriers and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
Yes. I mean, we have. Okay, I mean, from the Bay Area, you get a lot of international people. The chess world in general, it's just you get chess players who move from one country to another and such. But Judith, with all her Hungarian connections, especially to the Polgars, but Richard Rapport.
We've got to get Richard Rapport out here. He seems like an interesting character. Not only an incredible, Hungary's strongest chess player since Judith, I think.
And how old is he? He's about he's later 20s, if I guess correctly.
I don't know, somewhere in there, mid-20s, right? He's an original chess player too. He really aggressive, super aggressive player. It's
25. Okay, 25. Dimple Pinches helping us out.
Yeah. So still got a chance to be a world title contender. What do you think, Nick? You hobnob with like the world elite players. There must have been players that wanted to be grandmasters that were at the elite level that wanted to be the world champion, and then there were others that didn't want to be world champion, I think.
Well, that's the thing. There can be only one. There's only one world champion, and it's a tough road. And that's the great struggle to see it. You see the very best trying, but okay, only one can be the challenger, and then you have to beat the champ, and it's an epic battle to watch it unfold.
Right. So there must have been players though that were at that elite level that just were not, they would, okay, yeah, it would be great if I played a match for the world championship, but they were just, that wasn't in their DNA to try.
Well, someone like in the 90s, Ivanchuk was so good, but he never got world championship match and didn't win the candidates.
Right. Yeah, and as though some maybe ambition wasn't there. Ivanchuk's a good example.
It's great, but okay, there was still on to did a little better than Ivanchuk, and okay, Kramnik actually did get through. Fiedler won 8 Soviet or Russian championships, but didn't quite get through. There's all these great players who are almost there, but it's tough.
Somebody, Peter Swindler is asking us, how do you feel about Nepo's chances?
Well, one thing I love that Nepo plays exciting chess, and I'm going to enjoy this world championship match better than Karyakin's a great player, but he always played so defensively and such. But Nepomniachtchi, he throws it out there. So
He's got more of a chance of kind of catching Carlsen by surprise.
Oh, he'll win some games. I think he'll lose some games too. But okay, this match is going to be more wide open than the last couple matches.
And also it's a little longer. It's 14 games now.
That helps a bit. It's
yeah, it does.
12 games, you had 6 whites and 6 blacks. You figure you'll never lose with the black pieces. And I don't know. People were already conservative from the first game. So maybe 14 games, they'll go for it more.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get 14 draws.
Yeah.
No way. Not with these two players. I'm predicting that Carlsen's going to murder him, though. So.
Well, okay.
I think
you
Nepo
may well be right, but
you're right.
I hope not.
If Nepo wins 2 games, Carlsen will win 5 games or 6 games.
Okay, that would be a fun match at least.
It would be. It would be.
If your prediction comes true, I'll enjoy that.
Yeah. I also hope it doesn't go to rapid and blitz. It'll just be more proof that Carlsen is holding a very, very narrow edge over the top players.
Well, in the last matches, I think Carlsen could have won more comfortably in the classical chess, but just in the last couple games, he just wouldn't take any risk because, it's you've had that situation. You have a good position, you have to press through, but at some point you have to gamble, sacrifice a pawn or attack the king, and you feel it's the right thing to do. And it is the right thing to do, but if you mess up a little, you'll lose. Just because chess is so hard, so complicated. And for instance, when Carlsen played Caruana, the last game he had black. He did everything right strategically, and he was going forward, and all he had to do was press and pounce. Bam, open the queen side with a pawn sacrifice. But he was too afraid to do that, and he thought, I'll just go into the rapid against Caruana and keep my title.
Which was the right thing to do.
Well, that particular one was a Sveshnikov Sicilian, where.
Oh yeah, I know, and he got Carlsen came under a lot of criticism for agreeing to a draw, or for offering a draw.
Yes, but he knew he could win with the
rapid blitz playoff, yeah, and he was right.
Anyway, Alexei, thanks for the commentary tonight. What time is it in Texas? 10:30.
All right, we're going to move on here. Polaris is still a pawn down, but now he's fighting with the bishops of opposite colors. And we're going to move quickly down to the top board in the under 1600 section, and where Isaac Sterling, with a perfect 6-0 score, is trying to add to it in this game. See if he can play. And I guess if black plays e takes d4, then pawn e5. This is a risky position for black if he doesn't castle.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Black needs to get his king into safety here. White's played at least a consistent strategy here. I like this queen f3 move. I think I do, with the strong threat of pawn takes e5.
That is, yeah, quite a position for the white side. At least you've got everything developed. You've got everything on the F file. And what does black do? Big question.
Well, Isaac Sterling fearlessly playing for a perfect score in the under 1600 section. Let's go back to Winslow on board 1 in the open section.
Now Winslow has the black side, and count the pawns 2-4 against 2-4 pawn. And it looks sort of like nice light squares for white, but black has the bishop pair.
Can black do something down the G file? It looks like what black has to do is try to do something down the G file.
I think that was a much better plan. What was bishop to d7 for? Not threatening the pawn on h3 anyway.
Right, and then black can start playing on the G file maybe. I don't know. Looks good for black, but he's a pawn down, right?
Yeah, in general, all active pieces, that nice protected pass pawn on f4, white's pawn structure is split with pawns on h3, e4, and the c4, b2, a2. So 3 pawn islands.
Ooh,
for white.
Like Michael said, bishop to g4 to e2 is a possibility.
Oh, thank you, Michael. You've got a real threat already.
And remember what your grandma said, Nick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is an interesting board 1. All right. Let's see. Let's go. What's going on board 2, where Nicholas Wang is playing, and this is still the situation with black taking plenty of time here to try to figure out what to do.
But Paul, can you help us out now? This is the last round, and is Elliot Winslow in first place there?
No, he's not. I'm going to take a look at the standings here. In first place is Siddharth Arun with 4.5, but he took a half-point bye, so he's going to end up with 5. So Elliot can catch him. He's the only player that can catch him.
Aha.
But he needs to win in order to do so.
Okay.
Another player with 4, like Elliot, is Richard Liu, who also took a bye and is only going to end up with 4.5. So that's the situation. And I'll be right back.
Okay, well, we'll just continue having a look at...
shall I leave you with this game, or...
Yes.
Okay. Black is still thinking about their move here.
And not wanting to take on d5. If pawn to g5 would be a very interesting move. The pawn attacks the knight, which is needed to defend the bishop on d5. What on earth can white can do? Is that may just be a winning move. No. Okay, you can move the knight away, and there's only knight takes d5, knight takes d5, knight e2 check. king to h1, knight takes queen, but black also plays knight takes queen. A little complicated. Pawn to g5, knight to h3, knight e2 check, king. Oh, let's see what we can do. Sorry, g5, pawn h3, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, knight e2 check, king h1, knight takes queen on c1. Have to take the black queen on b6. And probably pawn takes b6, capture again on c1, and that's even pieces. Which not such a bad endgame for the black side, but maybe you can do better for black. I think black is very okay. That knight on d5, all that development, the king is safe. So why trade into an endgame that's roughly equal or a little better for you? Bishop to f5 is a thought. Just attacking the pawn on c2, opening up the rook on the d line. Yeah, somehow black is better in the position. But no winning knockout blow, no way to win just a pawn. Yeah, but you notice those black pieces, okay? All the minor pieces are out. And the white minor pieces are pretty much out, but it's the other white queens and rooks are back and more in a defensive position. So queen d6 is also a try for the black side. You're looking at something that could cause a lot of trouble for white. Time-wise, okay, it's Nicholas Wang is thinking, and this is a very good time to just sit and think. Because you make one move, like might be logical to go bishop d6 or something, but white gets a chance to repair the position with bishop c4. And then, what's been your big threat? So Nicholas is thinking it'd be good to cash in with something here. And that's why you look again at pawn to g5. Bishop to g5 doesn't. Yeah, it's hard to see a real blow for black. It's a time where white may have gone wrong, but he's lucky enough that everything just hangs together. That's kind of dangerous.
That's what you get for playing a center counter defense.
Yeah, it's a little provocative, gives your opponent a chance to think and try to knock you out. And if the knockout's not there, you end up like George Foreman against Muhammad Ali.
All right, let's take a look at.
Just Mike Wilder does have a suggestion, though. He says bishop to who's the last position? Suggested black plays bishop d4.
Bishop d6. Bishop d4. cd4, and yes, that would. Yeah, white's not going to play bishop takes d4 after bishop d6.
Okay, we move on to the others.
King
I
H1 or something.
I will get a cup of tea, as Alexi suggested.
Okay, so this game, this happened, and instead white did not play knight takes e4 and bishop takes a6, but played rook d1 instead. Knight c3, bishop c3, queen c7, rook c1, and black takes there, which looks dangerous, of course. But I think black has not solved his opening problems yet. Looks dangerous for black here at this point. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on here. This looks, like I said, this looks dangerous for black. Of course, the threat is bishop takes e6, and I don't think black can interpose a piece on c5 at this point. Maybe bishop c5. There's danger, though, even if white just withdraws the bishop back to a1 or something, or b2. Tough. All right. Black seems to have done well here in this game. This position looks dynamically equal. Maybe even black is starting to get an advantage here. His pieces are well placed, and he can play h5, h4. And white seems to have messed around the last few moves without accomplishing much. Guy Argo, okay, king e4, rook d3, and white switches to rook b2. We were looking at this. This could end in a draw after rook c3, rook b7, king e8, rook b7, etc., etc. If black's not willing to take a risk and approach the rook, rook b7, check king d8, rook f7, and then we're off to the races. My guess is black is much better there, but it requires a little bit of a risk. And it looks like he's going to take it. The black king can also go back and hide on g7. This is getting dire for white here. Not good for white, I think. Rook b6, king f8 now. Maybe white should try f5 there, but because if rook b8, king g7, black is better, but it may not be an easy win against correct defense here. All right, so in this game, black struck with e5, and white took and played bypass with d5. This looks like it should be good for black. e4 makes total sense, and queen g3 seems to make a lot of sense too. Although you never know, maybe h5 first. White, of course, wants to trade queens, and black goes back. This is a tough situation here. Queen e3. Both queens are blockading pawns. Very unusual. Very unusual. The black queen blockades the d pawn, and the white queen blockades the e pawn. Very funny. Is bishop g4 a good move here? Bishop g4 looks very possible. I have a feeling Bishop g4 looks like it might work here. I was looking at this position, Nick, where the black queen blockades the d pawn and the white queen blockades the e pawn. Anyway, Bishop g4 looks like a possibility here, and Kevin's son leading his section going into the last round here. And this is, okay, so after knight e6, we have this exciting game that's sort of petering out. It's still exciting. Let's see, does knight f8 and knight h7 check work here? The knight is all the way on the other side of the board. And look at this move. Knight takes c4. Wow. That is a fantastic move. Fantastic move. Nick, I can't hear you. Nick, you need to put your volume on.
Okay, the white cannot stop the black H pawn there. What a fantastic move, just simply greedily grabbing a pawn.
And white just senselessly plays f4, I think.
Because you cannot take the knight on c3. There's no...
And this is another nice move. This just really cuts to the chase, you know? It's all about passed pawns. That white knight is... that white knight is at h7 is just out of the game.
Fantastic play there by it's Kevin there. It's
But Adam Stafford, yeah. This is just lost, I think. Although White's managed to put up some resistance here. G5 looks like the right move here.
It's a thought. If you can just get one pawn down in a knight ending, there's some drawing chances.
Huh. All right. And here's Polaris, as usual, trying to make a fight of it. He's worse here. There's no doubt about it. White's got a nice game, but black is still fighting.
Yes, it's the beautiful white bishop on a nice c4 square, the extra pawn. And so white's got everything you kind of desire, but okay, it's still just a pawn.
And this in this game, after queen f3, black played rook c7, guarding f7, and after takes on e5, check, king h1, knight h5, a position full of danger.
And yeah, you think, ooh, something ought to go wrong for black there. And of course it probably will. It's a little hard to hang on, but a number of things. Maybe you should just start with rook to d1 and
then
knight
to c4 and knight to d6.
Very, very positional. Because if rook to c1, maybe black can play rook to d1.
If white plays rook to d1, what's wrong with queen to g5?
Whoa, wow, really going for it with knight to g3 check. You kind of like that. Rook d1 and queen g5.
Maybe rook c1, threatening rook c5 is better.
that queen g5 is such a
Dastardly.
powerful threat. I love that. Well done, Paul. You know, that just
It's a kind of dastardly one move thing that I'm capable of seeing in my advanced years as a chess player.
so if rook to c1 instead of rook to d1, you're not afraid of knight to d3.
And you're not afraid of queen to g5, because I think rook c3 would be pretty strong. Rook c5,
So
rather.
rook c1, queen g5, then yeah, rook c5 would be a really good move.
Probably.
There's also moves like pawn to e6.
There you go.
Just breaking things up, getting some play. If pawn takes e6, queen g4, you've got some threats. You stop Paul's big move, queen to g5.
So after e6, what about queen g5?
You want to do it anyway. I love it. I love it.
E takes f7, check, king f8. Anyway, we're in the realm of some kind of insanity here.
Where you just don't back down. I love it. Okay, but e6, queen g5, pawn takes f7, check, king to f8. How about just pawn to g4, stopping your threat?
Yeah, well, that's, throwing a cold, damp, and horrible thing over the position.
So Mike suggests pawn to e6, black castles.
There you
giving
go.
Giving up ideas on the H file, but getting all those rooks together.
All right, just goes to show you that chess is an incredibly complicated game with all kinds of different possibilities and branches and turns at every step. And so let's move on.
Yeah, all right. This is a great game, so we're going to see what they do. But let's
go back to the great Winslow. So after rook d3, bishop d7, b4, black went ahead and played on the g file. And white tried to keep everything together. Look at
There's a pawn ahead ending for white, but black is active. Bishops, the protected pass pawn.
And h4 is to play bishop h3, I suppose. White's just trying to get some space and giving the pawn back.
Yeah, you can take the pawn, get your pawn back immediately, or try to keep the positional pressure up.
And then black must be better with the and what's wrong with bishop h5? Oh, so he's going to have bishop h3 check. But black looks like he's gaining the upper hand now.
Yes, black must be a little better at least, maybe even a lot better.
All right, we'll move on. Board 2, Nicholas Wang versus Christoph Bambou. And after knight f4, black finally played bishop to d6, and white played rook e1.
Funny, such a move, bishop d6. Like that bishop on d5 is just kind of hanging there, but you put two bishops in the way, ignoring it. I'm wondering if you'll do something really sneaky at some point.
Bishop
on
f5
bishop.
for black. I don't know, but what black again is in a long think. It's a complicated position, huh? All the minor pieces are on the board, and they're on unusual squares. right? The white,
Yes.
they're on unusual squares. I like black, but optically, I like black, but bishop f5 suggests itself for some reason.
Threatening the pawn on c2. It'd be a very confusing move. And how's the time? There's still lots of time for both sides.
Yeah.
But yes, as long as you play something like bishop f5, you're not committing to anything. As soon as you play pawn to g5 with the black side, then all right, the pawn structure breaks up, and your
Did
your
you make
king
yourself?
can
Did you make yourself a coffee, Nick?
see. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you lucky dog! Look at that. Can I have a sip?
Yes. Well, in the chess cafe, we've learned such things. You need coffee to begin with, but a cup of tea at least.
All right, I'm gonna switch games here. We have Chelsea versus Christian, and Christian shot in bishop a3 here. Sorry, everybody.
And Christian's just a really experienced player, but Chelsea's just one of our major young talents. How old is she?
I'm not sure.
About,
teenager.
Yeah, you know, teen. So okay, a very good battle. You know, cross-generational battle.
Yeah. The threat of bishop e6 is there. I still think black has yet to sort of fully solve the opening problem here, but I could.
Well, white has all the pieces developed, all the pieces, works on the files, and yeah, as you say, a threat of bishop takes e6. So just has to watch out and defend. And
we'll come back to it.
it looks like you should move that queen.
And I think this game has gone rather well for black.
Well, okay, taking the initiative, just advance those pawns on the king side, but it's not a risk when you have the queen and bishop over there.
Yeah, but this is going well for black. White's not really accomplished much in the last 5 moves. And this game, for some reason, all right, so after rook b7 check, why didn't black take his king to g7, Nick? Instead, he played it out like this. And white doesn't take on f7, but plays rook a7. This is a complicated endgame. I don't understand this. If I was black, I was faced with these checks, I think I would have played my king to g7. And white doesn't take on f7 here.
Takes on f7, rook to a3.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's wow.
That's not that clear.
That's yeah, very complicated.
Instead, he plays rook to a7, rook to d3. I can't say for sure what is these are good moves or bad moves. Rook a5, rook d5. Of course, white's not going to trade.
Yeah, but now you get to do that check. Start running with the. Oh, okay. His idea is just to run with the.
Run with the c pawn. That's a good idea, actually.
And the white king is cut off. So, very dangerous strategy. 3 moves to a queen with that c pawn, and if the white king can't get over there, that means the only other person is the white rook. But how are you going to get that rook back?
Yeah, what happens here? c3.
Let's
I'm,
push the pawn. You no choice. Push.
no,
How do you
White's
stop?
completely lost here.
Ooh, that
Yeah. C2 and makes a new queen is by
well,
far.
pawn a5 check. You gotta, you know, throw something out there, try to confuse it.
It
But
doesn't work though. He played F5, Nick.
ooh, but that's too slow.
Yeah, F5 is clearly too slow.
That's count your tempi there. It's
White will resign in a move or two, I think.
that's a
We're
queen
gonna
on c1.
move on to Kevin's son, and he played Bishop.
Well, you know, just that was nice, very nicely done in that end game. Just focus on what's important. You know, getting that rook to d5 was a great idea, and you know, just give up your kingside pawns, and nicely done.
Yeah. Kevin's son has just sacrificed his bishop for a pawn on g4. And I was recommending that move, actually, not to pat myself on the back.
Oh, action, action, action. That's good. Yeah, what is happening? So if pawn takes g4, knight takes g4.
Looks powerful.
Too many threats. The queen, the bishop.
Ooh, it looks good for black. Classic move.
Okay, so pawn takes g4, knight takes g4. Bad situation. If you go queen h3, then queen to c5 check is a killer. Either doing a checkmate or forking the queen. But pawn takes g4, knight takes g4, queen to e2. How's that holding up? Get a check on h2, king to f1.
And then maybe bishop h6. Or rook e5 threatens rook f5 check.
Ooh, okay. So pawn g4, knight g4, queen e2, queen h2 check, king to f1, rook to e5.
Maybe.
Knight takes e4, rook f5 check, king to e1. Ooh. it looks wow. Looks hard. Looks hard for the white side. But much, I don't know. That could get complicated. No. It probably.
White must be busted here after this.
Yes. It looks like. So bishop g4, is there a way to decline the sacrifices? Like pawn to c5, rook takes c5,
bishop a3.
Okay, it's an idea.
Yeah. Then maybe b6. I don't know.
b6 and bishop takes c5, pawn takes c5. You've gotten some exchange,
but that's still probably favorable for black, and black's still threatening to take on d1.
Yeah.
He plays
it. Pawn to c5?
Yeah, he played pawn to c5.
Okay. Yeah, let's just take, as you say, just take that pawn on c5. It's don't give white some initiative.
Well, there can't be much of an alternative here.
Yeah, you don't want to go back queen b8. That's too
All right,
something.
exciting game. Let's move on though and take a look at Perloff Stafford. Oh, this is what I thought might happen, Nick.
Okay,
I thought
drawing
this might
chances.
happen.
Ooh,
White
what is going on?
King b7, a5. Can the pawn be stopped?
This is you actually got drawing chances. This was a screw up from block side because it was so winning earlier.
Yeah.
But you won the piece. You think you're feeling good, a piece or 2 pawns up, but it's
So
all you have to.
King b7, a5, knight c6, a4.
Yeah.
And then what? Knight b4?
Could be knight b4, could be knight to.
Or knight to d4. One or the other, right? Or even maybe knight a5. Probably not knight a5, but looks like white has a lot of possibilities to go wrong. But boy, he's very close here to a draw.
Yes, but still very tricky. One little pawn, that one knight.
The white king is still far away.
Yes.
Chess, I mean, what do you think, Nick? What's your gut tell you? Draw?
I think with if you're really good with the knight, you draw with white. But you have to be so precise with the white side.
So night before, I guess I played king c5.
Probably a good move. Yes, king c5. Knight
Oh, he played king b6 first. That doesn't look right. I would try to use my knight effectively first.
Oh, okay. He's putting the knight on b4. Ooh, there might be something wrong with that. Pawn to a3, knight b4, knight d5 check, knight takes knight, pawn to
Yeah,
a2.
exactly. King b6 is a mistake, I think.
Ooh, this.
It was better to move the knight first. The king it shouldn't have been committed yet.
Out. I think we're seeing white losing after a great struggle. This king b6 was the wrong move. So just pawn to a3, and you can't stop it.
Well, you can play knight d4 and try to stop it once it gets to a2.
Okay. Pawn to a3, knight to d4.
Somebody brought me a coffee. I can't believe it. From Michael Walter. Holy moly.
Mike, you are
thank
a hero.
you so much. Wow. Okay. Unbelievable. Look at this. It's a latte or something. Oh, thank you so much, Michael.
That is amazing, Michael.
Wow. And it's delicious. Thank you.
We have to put this down in how to run a chess site.
Oh, Michael, I now my terrific. Well, my hat's off to Michael Walder. Thank you so much, sir. Wow. An amazing thing. So, what's the verdict in the position?
Still maybe a draw. Pawn to a3, knight to d4, and but that's.
Black should find some sneaky way to win, but Richard Hack is in here saying the white knight, get to c2 and shuttle to a1 and b3. Yeah, this thing's giving me a headache. Let's move on. What do you say?
But it's, just to continue, since you have your coffee,
All right.
Mike sent you a coffee, Richard Hacks here, something like knight pawn to a3, knight to d4, pawn to a2, knight, I'm not sure which square, knight c2, is that it? And then can you give up your knight with king to d5? King takes knight on c7, king to c4, battle of the king against a sole knight.
Oh, he played knight b4.
He needed coffee. He needed coffee, and he missed knight d5 check.
Yeah. Knight d. Okay.
Oh,
Ouch.
and that is all she wrote.
Wow. Okay, you saw it here, folks. I'm glad I didn't have to put my brain to much work, though.
Now that you're awake with coffee,
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We have a bit of a turnout tonight. It's really exciting. I'm glad. Chess is still, we are commenting on an in-person event down here, downtown San Francisco, where at least 70 people have braved the evening to show up and hang out and play chess in downtown San Francisco. So, and I'm in the office, the chess room office, which is why there's nobody else here. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. And Nick is in Berkeley, connected to us through Zoom, and
things are getting delivered to the Downtown Mechanics Institute.
This is Michael Walter. My hat's off to you. This is absolutely fantastic. I've got a coffee delivered to me, in the middle of the night, and it's incredible. It's fantastic. I love it.
I've never heard that happen to me at the Marshall Chess Club in Greenwich Village.
Really, it's wonderful. Yeah, I'll get you a coffee the next time I see you, Mike. Terrific.
But this was an exciting endgame.
We're seeing some classic chess as usual. At every game there's a teaching moment. At least I'm learning something. And okay, so the black knight is taken up. The white bishop is strong, but the black knight's taken up a strong situation at f4. And Mr. Theodora Porlaris, is a fighting chess player. He's not going to give up, even though he's a pawn down. And Nick's grandma says a pawn is a pawn. There's still hope left for black here.
Okay, you're down a pawn. White has that great square on d5, but you say, all right, let's do what we can. Maybe go for the black squares, bishop g5.
So if this was the Marshall Chess Club, would somebody be ordering me a meatball sandwich or something like that? What would I be getting here? I wouldn't be getting a coffee. I'd be getting a meatball sandwich, I think. Right.
Yeah, well, actually, what are the places next to the Marshall Chess Club? There's the French Roast. There's some. There's no place for meatballs that I remember there.
I guess it's not old New York then.
Well, Greenwich. I don't know if Greenwich Village ever had real meatball sandwiches, but.
I'm just taking, I don't know either. I'm just taking a wild stab. Sounds like something that would be, New York, a meatball sandwich.
Yeah, like slice of pizza or something. But you used to live in New York when you were a kid, didn't you?
But I really was a kid. I don't remember. I was 5 years old when my parents moved to San Francisco. So I remember some things like the ice cream truck coming and, but it's pretty much lost in the sands of time. I did enjoy visiting there when I was an adult. And I know, Nick, you lived there for quite a while in New York City, in Manhattan, right?
Yeah, of course. There's so much chess. New York and the Marshall Chess Club has such a history of chess, from the Reuben Fine, well, actually Capablanca days to the current days and such. But
And remember, I don't know if we talked about this, but the there was a tournament at the Marshall Chess Club in during the flu pandemic that
who had
Capablanca
said that?
won. And it was a famous tournament, New York 1918 or something like that. And Capablanca won it in the middle of the flu epidemic. The tournament was played during the flu epidemic. And it's funny, there's no pictures of the players with masks on or anything like that. So it would have been really interesting, though. And it was very deadly and virulent in New York at the time. So it's really a remarkable bit of chess history that kind of parallels our own in a
And
way.
do you remember who were the other players in that 1918 tournament?
It's worth looking up. I mean, maybe somebody could look it up for us, or I can whip out my phone and multitask here, which I will do actually.
But I'm sure there were no real foreigners. Capablanca was sort of a resident of New York in those days.
It
And
was a
they didn't
strong
have.
tournament. It wasn't as strong as New York 1927, that's for sure. I think that was an extremely strong tournament, also won by Capablanca. 1918 New York chess, Capablanca.
Now that 1927 tournament, was that won by Capablanca or Lasker?
In 1927, I
Um,
think that was won by Capablanca. And by the way,
okay.
one of the most famous chess games ever played was played in that 1918 event, which was at the Marshall Chess Club, right? Marshall played the Marshall Gambit against Capablanca.
Oh, that famous game, and that was during the flu pandemic of
Played during, yeah,
1918.
it just showed, that players then were made of stern stuff. I mean, uh, yeah, the famous Marshall Gambit was played in that during that epidemic. So
It's odd, and in a way, it's very consoling that they had the same problems then that we have now. I mean, as you say, all the even this Delta variant and such, but the 1918 pandemic was just a tremendous thing that affected.
and there they were in the middle of a flu pandemic playing a chess tournament in New York. Famous chess tournament.
So we have to ask them: did they have a mask requirement, or did they?
How are you guys doing?
I'm joined here.
Hi, guys.
Here's Judith Starry, the famous.
How is Elliot doing?
Elliot, let's take a look at Elliot's game.
Yeah. Because Elliot we started in Richmond today, so he's a little tired, I think. But
Elliot's playing a great game.
great game?
Yeah,
Okay,
he is.
cool.
Look how his bishops they've gone from D8 and E8 to E1 and D1,
Wow.
Nick.
That's
Bishop's worth
on
writing.
the last rank.
That's worth writing an article about
Yeah.
right there.
Okay, good luck.
The
Nobody's
bishops.
done that before.
What an incredible migration of bishops, from D8 and E8 to D1 and E1. Really amazing.
Oh, Elliot has got his pawn back. But okay, those white pieces, knight on d5, rook on d3. Ooh, you got to watch out a bit. I wouldn't give white one tempo. If he could go knight to b6, he might have a mating
Yeah,
attack.
but what happened here? Bishop e2 after rook d3.
But you better do that. You better drive that rook off of the d file, because on tempo and you're in
It looks
big
pretty
trouble.
strong though, because coming up is f3.
Yes, bishop e2 is a strong move, and the rook has to go back to b3.
Yeah,
There's
Elliot
no
is resetting up
square.
the black pieces on white side of the board.
Yes, it's great if your pawns get to the
Yeah,
other rank, but
if
you
we go
usually
back,
don't.
if we go back a few moves, look at where the black bishops are here, and then and that's move 38, and then on move 43, 5 moves later, the bishops have reappeared on the other side of the board. Remarkable.
It's pretty good. People wonder why bishops are better than knights. They just move faster. They run faster.
Yeah.
That's their plus side.
Well, Elliot's trying to entertain us tonight, so I'm very thankful for that. Okay,
And
so
yes, the
that was
bishop
board. Let's jump
e2.
all the way down to board 10, where the top board in the under 1600 section. And black, let's take a look. So after knight h5, rook d1 was played, Nick. Queen g5, g4. And black said, there's no way for my knight to go. I'm going to play queen h4. Let you take my knight. And now I'm going to play queen h2 mate if you let me.
That's pretty good, but probably won't let you. So pawn to h3 is just begging to be played.
Yeah.
I just don't know about that piece sacrifice. There are a lot of promising things to do for black before, but pawn h3
and then what, rook g5, but then queen f4. Doesn't look like things are working out here for black.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so we're gonna go back to board 2, where Nicholas Wang, this odd game here. Black plays queen to c7, and white plays knight to e4, which lost the pawn in the corner, maybe. Bishop h2 check. It's still awfully complicated, isn't it?
Oh, those knights. Wow, I love those two knights. And bishop h, and I love the fact you just offer the pawn with check. That's real attacking play. But okay, then the bishop is needing to be defended. The black queen has to move. Where's that black queen going? Ooh, not too easy to find a square. It's, say, king to h1, and you better not go queen to e5, bishop takes d4, and there's going to be knight forks and things. So,
you could maybe play queen d4 there, but I agree. It looks like white should be able to land some shot.
So king h1, queen to d4, bishop to d4, queen takes d5. I guess you can do that, but bishop takes g7. Looks good for the white side.
Queen e5, bishop g5, queen d5, bishop d8, queen h5.
Yeah, I like this line. He did go bishop h2, king h1, queen e5. I would go bishop takes d4,
Queen D4.
Queen D4. I can't take on knight E7 check.
Oh, and then
king
take
two.
on H2. Yeah. Assuming that King E7 just gets slaughtered. Yeah, Bishop D4 also opens up the white queen, right?
Yes.
So Queen D5, maybe Bishop G7.
Yeah, Bishop G7, and that ought to just be good for the white
Yeah,
side.
okay. All right, we like white. An eccentric game. And here, after Bishop D, this game, after Rook C2, Black threw in Bishop E4, Nick. And White sidestepped back with Bishop D3. Black traded. White has to take back, I guess, with one of the pieces, but
Yeah, and that's somehow
Bishop
Black
G7 is a smashing looking move.
looks good. Knight C5 looks
Could be met by Rook C5 if nothing else.
Yeah.
But Christian took there, and now White looks like White's doing really well here.
Extra pawn,
Yeah.
yes. Centralized position.
Still,
can you mix it up? You've got a bad position, so you could go Rook to D8.
I guess White trades the queen for 2 rooks, right?
Yeah, White can't take the queen on B7 because of background mate, so has to take the 2 rooks, which normally good, but then you're throwing Queen E4, trying to mix it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great.
That's the thing to do, though. I guess White doubles, plays safe, and plays Rook CD2 or something. Then Queen B1 and Queen takes B3.
You might at least mix it up because you're in trouble with Black.
Yeah.
Pawn down, bad position.
Okay.
Got to do something.
Let's try this game. This has gone really well for Black.
All the positional trumps, knights, pawn on C4, control of the center.
Yeah. And remember back here, we were liking White's position, somewhere back here. But Black played all the good moves, and White didn't find any way make any progress here at all. Black.
Yeah, it's funny. White's not just kind of drifted around moving.
His knight should have been on C5 a long time ago. Knight C3, A4, C5. It was possible. I don't know. All right, well, let's keep moving on. This game was White resigned.
Okay, after pawn to C2. It's a shame, he'd fought back so well, and that happens sometimes when after you've been lost, but you struggle on, and then you relax, and that's what happened here. Black was still had some shots, and you, after maybe achieving a drawn position, White sort of let it slip with the C pawn.
Michael Walder, thank you for the coffee, and I didn't quite believe it when you said you were going to get me a coffee. I didn't, it's like incredible, So,
I thought you were joking, Mike, too.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Just at the way the world works nowadays, Somebody in. I wonder if this. I guess it could happen if I was halfway across the world. As long as there's some app or some way to communicate. Quite a remarkable thing.
just to all you viewers, that is Gokul fan Mike Walder. He said, "Oh, I'll get you a coffee, Paul. You're asleep." This is across the San Francisco Bay. There's a huge body of water between Mike Wilder and Paul there, but got the coffee delivered.
It's incredible. So thank you. Yeah, the internet, and some of us know how to use it better than others. Okay, so going down to Kevin's son's game here. This was a great game. Remember, he played knight takes g4. How did this go? Knight takes.
Oh, what is going on? Looks like an attack. He
Let's
did
see.
the knight takes g4 sacrifice.
Let's
which
go
wasn't
back a
accepted.
minute here, because remember he played knight takes. White played c5, and black actually went back to c7. Nick.
Which seems wrong. What would we say? Just rook takes c5.
And white played d6, and black jumped out at a5. Yeah, this is bizarre.
And
White
has
says
to take the bishop on g4. I mean,
he
it's
did, and black took on g4. And I guess despite all this, look at this. The pawn at c5 is going with check. This is actually still looking viable for black.
but now, okay, now it's a real sacrifice. You're not winning your piece back, but
2 pawns for a piece,
things are
though.
happening. 2, 4, 6, 2 pawns for a piece, yes.
But isn't pawn d7 a major move here, or is that met by queen c5 check, king h1, knight f2 check? I guess is too strong.
It's a thought. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you can sacrifice a lot on the black side with such a strong position in the center and king side. So knight a4 that seemed very good to defend some squares. Bishop h6. Okay, seems good. You're not even too worried if that bishop would take a rook, because you've got an extra piece. You've got those.
Plus that move pawn d7 coming up.
Yeah.
That's such a nice looking move. I think black went astray with this queen a5 idea. But
So is something like queen a4 just winning for white? Is like that all she wrote? So Mike Walder's suggestion say queen h4, you don't take material, you go for the central action, bishop e3 check. Where does that king go? Maybe even h1, and bishop takes c5.
with d7.
Yeah.
Knight f2
Knight
check.
check, king h2, queen c7 check, queen go to g3. Just not looking like it's working for black.
What a game.
So queen h4, maybe you just slow down for one move, like rook on e to d8. You're only down 1 point materially. You don't have to rush everything. Yeah, I think this game's still very much in the air.
Crazy. All right. Oh, this turned into a win for black, as we knew it was going to be.
Yes, that was, it made a rook. Okay.
Oh, what's happened here?
Oh, this is Theodoro's game.
Yeah.
So
A6, white plays A6, an odd move, I think. When
yeah,
B6
that's.
and A6.
I mean, you've got those queenside pawns, but
And you could play,
now
think about playing something like B6 and A6 sometimes, but okay. And Rook D3, one apiece. White blundered.
oh,
White blundered with
ouch,
Bishop C6.
ouch, ouch,
And Rook
ouch.
B6 is a nice move because the Rook is coming over to the third rank too. A6 was a mistake.
Yeah, black is getting back bishops of opposite color. That attacking knight on F4.
This is a
A6
blunder.
was a mistake.
Rook G3, and white decided to give up the queen for the rook.
Yeah. How do you do this? I would have let him take on E3 so you could capture and drive the knight off of F4.
Yeah, maybe play Rook AD1 or something. But he took this way and now plays Rook G1. So is there a problem still for black here?
Interesting. Like if the knight goes to F4, the rook comes to D7. Oh, okay. There's at least some idea there. If the queen guards it, queen to D8, you have like knight C1 because that knight is pinned. Ooh, maybe this game is not over.
No, it doesn't look like it's over. It still looks like there's a fight ahead. Wow, interesting game. Let's move on though. After Rook H5, white did find H3, stopping mate in 1, and black played G5, trying to play pawn to G4.
Yeah, G5 looks a little slow.
And white strikes with E6.
And yeah, pawn takes F7 is a real threat, so there's no time for G4.
And what happens after F takes E6?
You can do that, yes.
Bishop E5 maybe. Oh, but then G4, Queen G3. White should be able to get out some way.
It must be a winning position for white.
Yeah.
So throwing some complications in, that's good. That's good.
Now Bishop F6 maybe. He did it. Queen F6. Black's on the verge of collapse. Here.
Oh, yes. Now, finally, white has the attack. And
Queen
anyway, to
F6
stop.
was crushing.
Yeah.
Queen G6 check.
That looks like it's over.
And Rook D8 mate. And Queen D8 mate.
No stalemates in this game.
No.
No draw.
Well, Isaac Sterling is going to go 6-7-0 in this tournament, Nick. That's a rare thing to do.
Now, was that
score.
7 wins and 2 draws?
No,
or 2 bodies?
It's wait a minute now. That I'll have to take a look. I'll have to look at the cross table. If I can find it here. He got a forfeit win in the first round. So it'll be his 6th win in a row.
But he's not in the lead.
Oh, yes, he is in the lead. His section, under 1,600.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. I was a little confused. Which section was which? Okay, you've done a great job, and I say you belong in another section now. A fantastic result, 6 wins in a row. And very nice defense in this game. Yeah, those bishops. Bishops can be so strong.
Look at this rook a5. It looks to me like white's falling apart here.
Now, yeah, it's sort of instinct of desperation. I don't know.
I mean, maybe
Why
white
would
has to avoid a checkmating threat like rook b1 and bishop c1 check.
that would be good. So now, now the white players all have some technique. Oh, actually, this game went according to our prediction. But white's just comfortably ahead in the end game. Just nice position for white with better pawn structure on the king side. Few dark squares. So just develop queen f4 or something.
Really nice position for Christopher.
Yes, that's one he can easily play. I know his opponent will put up a great defense, but just easy to play with the white. Move your queen over, take dark squares, move your queenside pawns a little more compactly. But nothing could go wrong in that position.
All right. And this is Chelsea versus Christian, and this is turning into a really sorry state of affairs for black here. What's the rook on a7? Yikes. And white looks very correct not to trade queens there and just to play this attack here. Especially with that rook misplaced on a7 too.
Makes it closer. I mean, both were winning.
This now queen g4 check just looks like it wins. King f7, rook c6 or something. Oh no, not rook c6. This is just going from bad to worse. Knight g4 maybe.
Yeah, when you get these kind of positions where the white king's just safe because of all the pawns in front of him, that means just for 20 moves, it's only the white that's attacking and the black can't attack you.
Excuse me, I was having some peanuts with my coffee.
Peanuts and coffee, okay? I'm just amazed. Mike sent you coffee. This story is like sort of got to go viral.
Oh, fantastic.
I thought it was such a joke when he wrote that. So,
okay, so let's see what else is going on here. And black is having it all his own way, and look at white just almost deliberately tying himself into knots with moves like queen c3 and bishop d2. And
I know you're looking for a knockout punch.
Why is white playing like this? It's just funny.
Well, still, where is the knockout punch? Maybe you play A6 and say this is going to be one of those immortal Zugzwang games.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking Immortal Zugzwang right now.
That you run out of moves. You can't move the bishop on D2. You can't move the rook on C1. You can't move the rook on E1. You can't move the queen.
I was it was really funny thinking about the Nimzovich Zugzwang games. I really got a kick out of that. Playing the Immortal Zugzwang game, boasting about how good you are at Zugzwang and your opponents, and then turning around and losing two games that become equally famous in their own way.
Well, his opponents were all-time great.
I know, but the way that Alekhine put Nimzovich and Zugzwang in the middle game was very, very similar in a sense to the way that Nimzovich put Samish into Zugzwang.
Was that at this famous San Remo tournament?
Yeah.
19, where Alyekin won just about every single game.
Yeah.
There was maybe 2 draws. That has to be one of the very best performances ever from any world champion.
Well, it's almost like Hans Niemann winning the TNM, with a perfect score.
Well, okay, that was good, but it happened a couple of other times. But yeah, young Hans, he learned his chess here in the Mechanics Institute.
All right, let's move on here.
Someone says 7.5. No, but Hans did have a perfect score, didn't he, one time?
I thought Hans had a perfect score one time. Yeah.
So Richard Hack was saying 7.5, but okay. So we go Alyekin in San Remo, Karpov at Linares, which Mike says, and we're throwing in Hans Niemann at Mechanics Institute.
And now we can throw in the winner of the under 1600 section, Isaac Sterling, as well. Perfect 7-0 in this tournament.
Okay. Richard says that Hans Niemann drew the last game, which is probably correct. I trust Richard.
Well, what's going on here, Nick? King H2?
Oh my God. So this game, yes, this is a wild and crazy game, and but must be at least equal for blocks. Knight d4 check, king h3,
Knight back to f2 check.
and then do you want to play for a win with king g3? It's
Isn't f4 mate? Or you have to give up. Oh no, the king go back to h2.
Yeah, it's wow, wild and crazy game. And if I'm counting material, it's just 1 point up for white.
I'm guessing Elliot Winslow won his game. I'm going to go take a look. I like the way his bishops went from. We were talking about how your bishops. Elliot's in the room here with me. Talking about how his bishops went from. Your bishops went from D8 and E8 to E1 and D1 5 moves later.
Oh, wait,
That's
this
really
was that
amazing. Yeah.
That is unusual.
Yeah. And your roommate, Michael Walters, sent me a cup of coffee. Bought me a cup of coffee. I'm sitting here in the chess room, and well, and that's Kasparov calling. Is this Gary Kasparov? Mr. Kasparov, I'm doing our chess broadcast right now, so it's a pleasure to talk to you. But I happen to be extremely busy right now, so I'll call you later, but you can join us for the broadcast, and we'll get back to you later. We're on Twitch, sir. We're twitching. Couple hours. Okay, dude. We'll say hi. Oh, this is Karpov. Sorry. All right. Okay. Well, thanks, Mr. Karpov. We'll get back to you later. Bye. That was one of the 2Ks there. I get them mixed up, Nick, you know?
Yes, yes. Karpov, Kramnik, Kasparov,
Karyakin.
Karyakin, Korchnoi. Hey, is a good name for a chess player.
It is. It is.
Come on.
So it looks like White's acquiescing to a draw possible here.
How's the time? Yeah, White's little
White's
low
got
on
19.
time.
White's got 20 minutes. Black has 34 minutes. All right, let's roll. Let's roll over to Perlov and Stafford. Oh no, we saw that game. That was this unfortunate thing. Here's poor Loris.
Theodoro is just winning his games. You know, he's just any position, he's just winning it. It's
Well, this one might be a little tough here. Black needs to eliminate that A pawn and not get mated.
oh, yeah.
Knight A6 is met by Rook A6. So looks to me like White's on the cusp of winning the knight. Black might have to play knight takes A6. Well,
that is true.
We're not going to look at that because it's too horrible. We're going to go up to Winslow's game. And I think it looks to me like Winslow...
Let's see the final position.
The final position looks like bishop b5 check. Yeah.
Now, winning the bishop on d7.
Yeah. It looks like a well-played game by Winslow. Of course, appearances are usually deceiving, and I'm sure that it was completely botched at numerous points during the game. I wouldn't say that except for Winslow happens to be in the room with me, and this is my chance to deliver a couple of cheap shots at him. I hope I'm forgiven.
You forgot.
Okay.
Yes, that was a nice end game. The
Yeah,
bishop.
Elliot.
Can you actually show us those, Paul, just from that position where
Go
the bishop.
through. From here, Rook D3.
I mean, the bishop zoomed from one back rank to the other.
Yeah, and now the bishops are on the second rank, and White's actually threatened with moves like bishop C1 check here, and if he has to put his rook up on A5, and now there's like a threat of rook B1 check, and looks like mate. So White's just sort of floundering here.
Oh, those see the power of those bishops, just magnificent.
They call those the Winslow bishops now, right? That's what they're called now, I heard. And bishop D7, and Elliot finishes up with the elegant double.
There was no safe space for that.
Yeah, it doesn't
bishop.
look like there's a safe square for the bishop.
and discovered check, winning the white bishop and
Just the
taking.
ruthless technique, you know, the
Nicely done by Mr. Winslow.
and King D4, of course, is one of those. Okay, so that out of the way, let's go see how Nicholas Wang is faring against Christoph Bamboo.
And it went as we predicted. This line, bishop takes g7, and the pawns and pieces are even material, but the white pawns are on nicer squares. And it doesn't look like there's any checkmating threats now for
I'd
black.
like to see Nicholas, you know, start converting some of these games against stronger players. He's gets these. Looks like Rook D1 is quite strong here. I mean, what's Black doing?
Maybe some pawn to f5 or b5, and then get your cars over.
I don't know. The pin on the D file looks strong. Rook D1. Black looks like he's in trouble there.
There's really no mating threat for black. That white king is actually quite safe in this position.
And he plays Rook D1. This looks critical for black. Very critical. And
Ooh,
Nicholas is
do?
due to start winning a few of these tournaments here. And let's see, this is Chelsea, who is the exchange up now, and a pawn as well, and with a winning position against Christian.
That's pretty good. You know, as much as I root for Christian, this is a tough situation.
This is lost. This is lost for him. And well, if white takes with the rook here in this game, bishop takes c2. So, you know, white's played a very passive game and a strange game to sort of understand. It's looking better and better for black here.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. Just take with the king on g1 or e1 rather. Rook can come to e7 check. King back to f2.
Yeah.
Materials equal.
Just hold the fort. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, I've got an idea. You take with the king. I play queen e8 and queen to b8, and try to get in another way.
Yes, we had sort of this discussion, Mike Waldo, about the queen invading. And the rook might invade too.
Yeah, nice game for black still. I'm going to move on. Oh, this game was already over. And Kevin's son, we have to see Kevin's son. Oh, this game has been agreed to a draw. And Kevin, by drawing, wins his section.
That's bad.
So
I mean, just that.
It's a good result for black. It's a good result for black. As far as I know, let me take a look here, though, and just make sure that what I'm saying is true. I think Kevin's son wins his section hands down.
And moving up to the top section after this, probably.
Adam Stafford actually joins him. I think Adam Stafford was the winner, if I'm not mistaken, of this game, remember? And so he's going to finish with 5.5 like Kevin's son, and the two of them tie. Although there's even another player that can tie them as well, and that's the white player in this game.
Don't see that one. Oh,
Brownlow versus Polaris. If Polaris loses, then Brownlow will join Kevin's son and Adam Stafford at 5.5. Oh, look at this. Queen G4, nice move. Rook A8 check and Knight B3 looks forced. Black has enough time to sort of win anything here. What do you think, Nick?
yeah. I mean, it looks like it's good for black. I can't see a shot.
King H7, Knight B3.
Or knight three, but then you could do queen h4, queen e4 or something.
Ooh, perfect move.
I was thinking king h7, pawn to a7. You just take the knight on
I might take
c5.
your rook on A1 with check.
Oh.
That's why I want to play Knight B3.
Aha. Oh, well, then knight b3 to just do it. Yes.
And then if queen takes C4, then A7.
Yes.
I think black's
just
losing here. In which case there'll be a three-way tie for first in the under 2000 section. That's
And who are those that'll tie for first?
Brownlow, Stafford, and Kevin's son. Kevin's son and Stafford are tied right now at 5.5.
And who would be the third?
Is Brownlow, the white player in this game. He's
Oh,
got
Brownlow,
4.5. If
Staff,
he
and
beats Polaris, he'll have 5.5.
Oh, okay.
Polaris is way out of contention with only 3.5 points right now. Even if he won, he wouldn't come close. All right, well, I'm going to jump back up to Wang versus Bamboo. You gotta like white here with a centralized position, compact.
Yeah, you just don't see anything wrong with the white position, and that's usually a much better position than you think when you've guarded all your weaknesses.
It looks to me like black is in almost dire straits here with the pin on the d-file and everything.
Well, we'll wait for a few days to see if that's an actual Wang contributor.
Zhuang. Samuel Brown, son of Nick Brown.
Oh yes, Nick Brown has always played in the tournament. So if Sam is his son, that's terrific.
What's Sam Brown? That's Brownlow, right? Brownlow is not the same as Brown.
I guess not.
And Christian Clements is still fighting on here. A pawn and the exchange down. But and black has played knight f4. And white has played b5. And bishop c2 doesn't quite work. Well, something is happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. And that's a new chess quote. Yeah, for what it's worth.
Yes,
Well
and
done, Elliot. Well, Elliot's sitting here in the room as well. We're cracking puns. Um, old
which they don't
song.
do in St. Louis. That's the thing. We at least, make our broadcast entertaining.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for watching and for contributing. This game was lost a long time ago. Kevin's son has drawn his game. We're down to only a few games here. White did play knight b3, and I'd say things are getting kind of desperate for black here. Yeah, and I guess queen e4 is the right move here, and then sacrificing the knight for the a pawn. But queen e4 attacks the rook at a8. So white moves the rook somewhere. Oh, I guess rook h8 check and then a7. You can play queen a8 at the end of that. Yikes. Okay. What do you think, Nick? I think Nick needs a cup of coffee. Nick, this is something that you will certainly not see in St. Louis. All right, somebody needs to call Nick here. I wonder if his ringer's on. I can hear it going off. He's answering his phone.
Mr. Winslow.
Right.
Oh,
Well, we caught you again sleeping on the job.
well, that was bad. It was late. It just gets too late at this. Thank you, Mr. Winslow. We appreciate it.
One of the most, you can only find it here at the Mechanics Institute Chess Club, folks. The concise analysis and
yes, as Richard Hack said, I deserve my 15-minute break by law.
Yeah, but it's
And,
actually
Mike Wilder
four.
did not send me a coffee, so it's I'm entirely excused.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's get back to the real action, where real men sacrifice knights and rooks.
All right, let's take a look at Wang. Black tries to make way for the queen possibly to c5. I'm not really sure what that move does.
Like trouble for the black side.
A queen c7 either wins something or it allows black to play something like rook g2 check.
There's moves like rook to h1, also queen to b5, rook h7 check, king takes h7, queen takes f7 check.
Followed by rook h1. Yeah, this is over. Rook h1 is incredibly powerful. It wins on the spot.
It's over, it's over, it's over.
Look at that. Nicholas has a chance to win in beautiful style here. Will he see it? Black really, Nicholas has played a great game too. An interesting game. It's usually got kind of floundered in the opening. He's got rook h1. This is right out of the tactics books that were also talking about. Rook h7 check is going to be a fine finish to this game if he sees it.
Just no move.
Are you sure it works? Oh yeah, look at one thing.
Queen a5, now rook h7 check. Wham! Just a clean kill. It's the kind of thing a young player should see without any problem. It's funny how some of these young players, though, are they're not as tactically aware as you would think, despite all of the and he sees it. Brilliant finish, Nick. This might be one for your.
He did it.
This is got to be one for your. One for the newsletter. Spectacular win.
It's just one problem. Does it win?
What do you mean?
King h6.
Oh, rook g7.
It's king g6.
Oh, king h6.
Block.
Rook h1.
Block.
And queen h5, and you don't take the queen. When queen f4 check, although.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, there's a dozen other ways to win.
Yeah, a dozen other ways to win. Yeah.
It doesn't. I challenge it. Prove it doesn't. Show me 12.
Queen f4 check is devastating.
Okay.
Absolutely devastating. Nice. We're going to see what happens in a second, though. We're going to go run to Chelsea Zhao, who is leaving her rook on g6 for an uncomfortably long time, in my opinion.
I mean, she's completely winning, but
Yeah, just be careful.
Wait a minute, what's going on there?
Rook check and queen b7 check. And then you're still fine after king h3. Okay. And here we have this game still rolling along. White's breaking through on the queen side, while black has yet to get the exact thing going that we believe he should be getting going here.
this is nice. Nice move, pawn to b5.
Or it takes on b5, yeah. It's almost as though black is floundering. We'll see. Kevin's son drew his game. So actually, we're just here at Brownlow and Polaris. Queen e4, white plays rook b8.
Oh, just a nice move. That white king is safe, and it's just hard to generate play.
Well, what happens? Knight a6 here. Do it.
You have to do it.
And then after rook a6, queen e1 and queen f2. Probably not going to be able to hold it, but
It's at least some counterplay around the white king.
yeah.
Because
it's still got a ways to go. Frankie 5 Angels. All right. And back up to Nicholas, and he finds queen f4 check. devastating body blow. Black plays rook g5 check, trying to
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Rook G5 is all right. A quick finish at least. Merciful.
made into
You take too long already. It's enjoying the moment.
Nicholas Wang. Nice victory. Nice little sacrifice right out of the books.
Bishop takes h3 must have been bad.
Something is going on here that I don't understand after queen takes g5 check, but we know that white ones that win the game.
Yeah, it's the DGT board
Yeah,
where
the
they
with the DGT horror. And what is white doing here? I really want to see white try to win this in a different way than this way. This makes me extremely nervous to try to.
if you're gonna take on f6, you win very easily.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty decisive. I mean, the bishop has to go, yeah, back to the diagonal there.
It's like white's running his own rook out of. Oh, rook g7 here is nice. Queen g7 and then rook d8 check.
Yeah, you've always had that to give up your two rooks for the queen. I'm not sure that makes the win much easier.
White's just run her own rook out of moves with some of his play. I don't know.
Ooh, rook c2. That's just a passive square.
Yeah, on b4, white can actually play rook f6. Bishop f6, rook c7, queen c7, queen f8, mate. How about that, Nick?
Okay, so rook c2.
I'm just checking to see if you're awake.
Yeah, well, that one's a good one. There is a.
Oh, she misses it. She plays rook a2. Okay. Yeah, she missed it. Rook f6 would have been a nice little shot there. Some of these youngsters, they know their tactics better than the other youngsters. Rook c8, still black is still in the game.
Still alive. And you're lost, but if you're alive and there's some possible checks to your opponent's king, so
Lost but alive sounds like a short story set on some deserted island. You know? Okay, let's take a look at Aiko's game here. And he's finally had enough. And plays bishop h3. And as usual, the players with the least amount of time make the most crazy decisions in those kind of things. Black has only a minute and a half left, whereas white has 26 minutes. And I think, well, we still have the Brownlow-Parlaris game going here. And it's going as we predicted here.
okay, so the queen e1 check and queen takes f2.
Or is it better to take on c4? What do you think, Nick?
But taking on c4, what does that threaten?
Nothing. But can you... Yeah, I guess that's hopeless.
I think you need to go for counterplay against the white king.
Like if white can go knight d2 and knight f1, that's probably enough to consolidate and then chop off all the rest of the pawns.
And then the two rooks.
Yeah, so you have to go
Gang
queen
up.
e1 and queen f2.
Queen e1, queen f2, and yeah, white will have to play a few accurate defensive moves to win the game.
Hey, good night. Good night, Michael. So Elliot Elliot, is going out to dinner at 11 o'clock at night.
Typical of these guys.
Everybody goes out for late night dinner.
Well, that is real chess player hours late at night.
Yeah.
Afraid I'm now the early morning person.
That we leave that to the young folks like Elliot and Mike Walder, Frank Farley. I think these youngsters, these kids.
So there's no tricks here. Knight to d2,
Oh, he played Queen c4. Yeah.
and that just doesn't seem to do it. Queen to d4, the rook can come back to a2. So it was so much better to take that pawn on f2.
Black is toast now.
Yeah, just easy for white. Double the pigs on the 7th rank and gobble up.
Yeah. That extra piece is all that's needed here. Okay. It looks like there's going to be a three-way tie in that section. We know that Isaac Sterling. Okay, so does Elliot tie for first?
Two.
And is a two-way tie?
Yeah.
Okay, so Elliot ties for first with Arun, Siddharth Arun. I think. Let's take a look.
Did he also win on the weekend?
No, he didn't.
Oh, that was
So Siddharth Arun had 4.5, and finishes the tournament with 1, 2, 3, and finishes the tournament with 5 points, as does Elliot. And Richard Liu finishes with only 4.5. Okay.
So this also is interesting. If the player for most firsts are tied for first in Tuesday night marathons, no, that has
I think
to
that
be,
would be Elliot.
has to be Elliot Winslow.
Yeah. So black drops back with Queen d8, and this is precisely. I mean, white missed Rook f6, which just would have been a powerful move, I think. Yeah. Queen d8 sets up a Queen d1 and Queen d5, and this is, not what white wants to see.
So no knockout blow yet, and wow, that's just dangerous. Because there's checks and things that.
Exactly. Queen g8 is a good move. But white has only herself to blame for missing Rook f6 there, which would have just been crushing.
Yeah, that was a great move, Rook f6.
King g2, Queen d5, King h3, Queen f5, Rook g4. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's good for black. I mean, for white. Because if
time-wise down to 10 minutes each.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's good for white, I suppose. King g2, Queen d5, King h3, Queen f5, Rook g4, and then you're threatening Queen f8 and Rook a8. It's winning for white. White's probably still got this in the bag.
Yes, it's still a winning position, but getting trickier and trickier.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't afford any more slips for white now.
Okay, so did you see this? Yasser Seirawan told a story about Nick this week. Said you used to write your move in German.
Well, or Scandinavian notation, yes, same
Right.
thing.
So that what would the with a king, I assume, would be a K still, right?
Yes, yeah, but a knight would be with an S,
S, right? And
and
bishop
the bishop
was an
with
L,
with an L, with an
right?
L.
For Lauper or Leaper or whatever. Isn't it funny how White's entombing her own pieces by moving the pawns on the king's side?
Yes, why this pawn to H4? You think your king's going to be safer? It's how about pawn to F5 there?
Ooh, I like that move for black, maybe.
Is that threatening perpetual check immediately? Maybe not quite. Or do you want to go rook to D7 so that that rook is
Oh, that's a nice move, rook D7.
ready to just pound in? Yeah, Chelsea's just after that winning position, she's just kind of drifting, and each move is getting more difficult
And
for
the
her.
queen is D, right? For Dom, right?
Yes.
Right.
And what do the Russians do for their notation?
Well, they have that Cyrillic thing, right?
Yeah, but okay, it's
I'm not sure what the names of the pieces are in Russian. Like, what's knight in Russian?
is that an H?
Horse.
No, that's what a real knight is, just a horse.
Yeah.
In the scholastic tournaments, you got to get it right. That's the
Right.
horse, which of course is the name in a lot of other countries for the knight. Just call it a horse.
And when I'm talking to my friends, sometimes I say to them, "Do you remember how the horsey moves?" Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Like horsey is an important. White, yeah. I mean, look at White's rook on G6. I mean, it looks strong, but it's all right. Well, let's move on here.
That's one of your Pologaevsky pieces.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right.
And Paul will have to tell you many times the story of Pologaevsky, like something like you have this beautiful centralized knight on D5, and Pologaevsky says it's just doing nothing.
Yeah.
So he moves it to, what was it?
He moved it to a square where it actually started doing something. Yeah. I think it took a piece or it checked something or forked something. But if a piece just is sitting there on this beautiful square, it's got to do some work still. It's just sitting there and doing nothing sometimes.
Just sitting looking pretty doesn't count.
No, it does not count. And I learned that from Polugievsky. So black is sacrificed a piece, Nick.
Yeah, the nice thing is that white queen is way over there. It's very hard for that white queen to get to the king side.
Yeah. And black can still move the rook over laterally if the position gets opened up.
Yes, despite the
like here, if I'm black, I think I want to play pawn to G4, and he does. And what happens now?
a lot of action in this position.
F4, Queen F5, or something like that.
Pawn to F4 may be necessary, but what does Queen F5 do. It's not.
Try to play knight takes f4 check.
Yeah, but that really slows things down. So pawn to f4, queen to f5.
I don't know. Can you find another move after pawn to f4? I don't know.
Truthfully, no. I'm not sure g4 was the right move. Pawn f4, queen e8, maybe?
Oh, there you go.
No, then rook e1. Rook e1's probably very good.
Queen f5, rook f1 as well.
Or queen f5, can you go queen to a3? Trying for queen a8 check.
Ooh. Gosh. That is so devious.
But maybe you just say, it's who cares about a rook?
Yeah, play knight f4 check and allow.
Bishop takes, queen a8 check, king a7.
You can play
queen
rook
takes.
b8. You can play rook b8 if your queen's on f4.
Ooh. Eight's a killer. So,
Rook f1 is, and now what? G3. Geez, chess is so complicated here. Knight f2 is coming, maybe.
great game. I have to say, this is like the game of the round.
It could turn into the game of the century, Nick. Now queen a2.
G3 is great. I mean, lots of things. You have knight f2 coming. It's
Okay.
and they're down so down on time.
All right, let's see how Perlov and no, we know how that game went. Let's see how Brownlow and Polaris is coming. Something has led to this.
And this is a trivial win here.
Yep. Okay. Well, Polaris is a fighter. I'm not going to count him out yet.
Okay. It'll take quite a fight there. But
I think those are the only two games left, right? No, we have Clements and we have this game. And Black didn't
Chelsea.
Black didn't play the rook d7 idea. Black needs a more active defense than just playing passively with the rook on f7 and holding, trying. Rook d7 looked like the only chance.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to think Black has better chances if rook d7 were played. That's
I guess White could move up with king h3.
Yes. King h3.
And then Black has to play f5 or something to stop. Yeah, it's just not looking good for Black, I suppose.
Yeah, it's still probably winning for White, but
look at what we have here, Nick. White played queen a3, and Black played rook g7.
which doesn't look like the right
No,
move.
it doesn't. But after b7, can you play knight f2? Yeah.
Actually, can you go rook takes b7? Oh, why not rook b7, queen a8, check rook b8?
Because the queen's at f5, not f4.
Oh, yes, sorry. Okay, so we get a double queen position. Oh, queen h3 check is such a threat. So b8, queen check, that'll be automatic. King h7. And I guess you have to go rook takes knight on f2 check.
White's going to have two queens. Black only has 10 seconds left. What an
Lot of
exciting
positions.
game. Yeah,
I guess it's winning for white, you know. Get a queen check. Take the knight on
on F2.
F2. And after queen comes to H3, you just go and pin the rook with queen A7. So that rook on G7 can't checkmate you. And with a lone black queen, you can't do checkmate.
White has to be a little careful here. The threat is queen H3 check and G2 check after king F3.
You know, rook F2, maybe you just go H3 check.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just keep sacrificing.
Yeah.
But 10 seconds. Oh, it's so hard to play. Wow, what a position. What a position there.
Another incredible game from the TNM.
This is really the highlight of the round.
Let's see, Brownlow and Porlaris. This is over. Okay. So we'll come back. And Chelsea Zhao and Christian Clements. This game is still going on here. I'm not sure. Rook A2 looks like it's the right move again.
Yeah, gotta bend that. Here.
Two queens on the board.
So what would happen? Queen to rook takes F2 on H3 check. Where could that king go? King F1 onto D2 check. Wow. Maybe both sides will get two queens. Rook F2.
Oh no, this loses. Queen F8, queen check, and G2 check. That looks like it's winning for black, right? Who takes the rook on F1, making a new queen?
King has to come to F3. Pawn to G3 check. And
it's mate.
Oh my God.
It's mate.
Oh my God, with 10 seconds left.
It's mate. There's no way out. King E2, it just takes the rook with mate. Makes
oh my God.
Mate.
What?
What a finish.
Yeah.
No way out. King takes F2 or King E2. He takes the rook and makes a queen and checkmate.
An incredible game.
Wow, at the end of the game, there's 4 queens on the board. Amazing. All right.
Yeah, so Richard Hack agrees with us. Just that's like a game for the ages.
White should have used his time better.
Okay. Well, we have something. Akko shows up for the chess cafe.
Yeah.
We will ask him about this on Monday.
For sure. This game is still being fought. Looks like pawn to E5 might be the move here. F takes e5, rook e6. So white has really not shown the technique you would expect here.
Yeah, Chelsea undoubtedly could have put it away a bit earlier. Rook to G4. There's
And
no
we still
particular
have this
threat.
game with this game must be, yeah, black resigned. Okay, so we have 2 games left.
Two or just one?
This
Just
game,
Chelsea's?
yeah, I guess just one, because this game is white resigned.
Yeah, poor Teodoro. He finally went down after such a great run.
So we're left with this game. Trench warfare.
So maybe that black rook could go over to the A file and but then pawn to E5 really sets up the threat.
Yeah, I mean, white is on the verge of finding a way through here. Just, you know, I think E5 is the move, right? Because, and now you're asking, why did white play rook to G4 when black can gain a tempo here with pawn to F5? Not that that
Yeah,
helps.
I think you have to go pawn to F5. There's no.
But then the E6 rook goes back to G5 or G6. Black doesn't seem to be getting in, right? Queen C2, King H3. The back rank is too weak.
Yeah, that
I think this is it. It's just black is finally collapsing, I think.
pawn to F5, rook to G5, and no way. Definitely that bishop on B2 just isn't helping.
I think if you go, I'm not sure exactly. Let me see if I can. I'm not sure how to put it in the chat. Huh. It's on View Live Chess Cloud, but there's a whole long URL to it, so I don't know exactly how to get to that. Oh, somebody is helping. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Triangle Anomaly. You know more than I do about how to get there. Black just marks time, and white takes on f6. So if rook f6, queen g7, if bishop f6,
Still going.
then what? Rook g back to g6, and then queen c2 check. King h3, queen f5 check. Oh, wait a minute. Queen takes g6. Oh, it's on the Mechanics Institute tournament page. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, white can blow it here with rook g6, actually queen c2 and queen takes g6 check. So, what is white trying to do with all these moves?
And a minute and 8 seconds left. It's tough.
f5, queen c2, king h3, queen f5. Oh, it just seems like white has. Well, then I guess you could play queen f4 maybe. Maybe that's the way to go. Something like that.
Probably F5 would win the game here. So
Get this rook that's been imprisoned over here.
30 seconds left.
Queen h5 looks good too, maybe.
The few moves, 20 seconds left. Chelsea.
Enables the queen and the rook to come into the game. It should be good enough for the win.
Should be good. So if bishop to g7.
And the queen can go all the way back to d2. In fact, the queen can go back to d2 here, and that should win.
Check. Oh, check. Interesting. If king h7, can you go pawn takes f5? Okay, well.
Queen f5, rook f4, I think should do it. Then white's back in control here. It was touch and go there for a while, but this is white's now getting it together here. Queen f5, rook takes b4.
Queen f5. Yeah, play queen f5 though. Keep the queens on.
Yeah, and then rook takes b4 or rook f4.
Yeah, but it's 12 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, objectively, you're lost.
Yeah.
But, so keep the queens on though. Just
both players are just running out of time here. But white's winning, I think. Back in the saddle here. Oh, black exchanged. That's not good.
Oh, makes it too easy for white to play.
Yeah.
And you lose the pawn on b.
That's it.
That was you just.
It's just
okay. Now the increment's plenty for this.
Well, there's no increment. That's the horrible thing. Is a delay, but no increment. That's what makes this so unpleasant. Oh, rook b5 and rook g5 mate. Overlooked a mate in 2. That's not good. And here we go, rook g5 and rook h6 check. She sees it. Well done.
Okay.
Wow. Well, Nick, another interesting evening. These
oh yes,
games
and we had this super game of Akko's that
yeah,
that was high entertainment.
So on behalf of the Mechanics Institute Chess Club and everybody else, Nick DeFermian, thanks for joining us. Paul, thanks for joining us. Mike Walder, sending me a cup of coffee. Whoa! Incredible. And I'm going to sign us off. I'm going to sign us off.
See that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get able to do the technical thing here. But good night, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good night.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And see you guys next week.
All right, Nick. All right. People
Actually,
watching.
the
That's
week
good.
after, right?
The week after, yeah. Good night, everyone. Hey, Nick.
All right, hey Evil. Good night.
Time to go to sleep for everyone.
Yeah.
Long day. All right. Bye.